Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright, just a real quick post-fight thought to Michael Mckinson. Got the win in there tonight against his opponent, whose name, very, very difficult to pronounce. I'm just leaving it as it is. We're just going to call him the opponent. Won a 10-round point decision. Now, I thought it was a shutout. Two judges gave the opponent 1 round. One judge was very generous, gave him 2 rounds. For me, it was a complete shutout by Michael Mckinson. The things I took from this fight, because I did see the Chris Congo fight, but I didn't see it throughout. I forget exactly what I was doing that day, but I know I didn't see that full fight throughout, so I couldn't really gauge. It surprised me because Chris Congo was coming off the back of some really good performances. He looked very good. I thought Chris Congo was looking excellent. I thought he would walk that fight. Mckinson, very unorthodox in his style. He's a southpaw, but you see the way he throws his shots. He kind of... I'm not as good, definitely not as good, but you can see snippets of Prince Nassim and somebody. Like, even the way he popped the jab, it's kind of... He has the kind of hands down low. He kind of shoots with the jab. His jab in this fight was very good. I was very impressed with the jab of Michael Mckinson. Now, Michael Mckinson's one of those guys where he's only got 2 KOs on his resume. So, straight off the bat, you would turn around and say, well, he's not a big puncher. From what I saw in there, he does actually appear to have some heavy hands. You know, sometimes when you see these guys and their knockout records don't suggest they're big punchers, they do have a bit of pop, but a lot of the times you see someone with a very low KO ratio and you can kind of tell they're not. Like, for example, Cash Farouk was on this card earlier, and you could see that Cash Farouk's punches just were not having the effect. There wasn't that thud from the shots. There wasn't really anything there to his shots. There wasn't a lot of pop in Cash Farouk's shots. With Mckinson's shots, and he's throwing up very unorthodox angles and unorthodox stances as well, you can see that there's a thud on them. You can see that the opponents feel them, because he's been dropping a lot of guys. Not been stopping them, but he's been dropping a lot of guys lately. And certainly what I saw, it shows to me that he does have heavy hands. And I think that if he could adjust his style... Now, saying that, the style he's using, it works for him. So you don't really want to be tweaking it too much. But I reckon that if he actually threw his punches in a more orthodox style, so if he got more rotation into the shots, from what I can see, a lot of the shots he's throwing... I noticed this early on in the fight. It's almost like he's throwing not with his fist clenched in the glove, you know what I mean? It's almost like a slapping shot. So basically, it's like, imagine you're throwing a rock hard jab, like bam. His is kind of like that, kind of almost like you're just trying to tap it, like score points. Still has a bit of weight behind it, but nowhere near as much as it would be if it was a fully closed fist and he landed with the knuckle part of the glove. So all those things probably lead to one of the reasons why he's not got as many stoppages. As I said, I think if he threw from more orthodox stance, got a bit more rotation into the shot, he'd be getting a lot more guys out of there and finishing them off. Saying that, he's got a good bit of boxing IQ in there. You know, there was a lot of things he did in there that I liked. I think he's got some good footwork, some good movement. There was a few times there where the opponent landed a couple of body shots on him, and you did kind of wonder, okay, not a noted puncher his opponent was. I know he's been in there with Josh Kelly, but you kind of thought, okay, maybe want to tighten that up a bit. But for the most part, it was fairly basic, it was fairly run-of-the-mill in terms of just getting through it, showing off his talent. Definitely the jab is something that he's going to want to utilise more, because I was impressed. He has a very, very good southpaw left jab. I was very impressed with that. His opponent had the typical European style. Arthur Abraham was one of the guys who kind of pioneered this style. Well, I'm sure it was around before then, but Arthur Abraham's the guy I think of most who used it, whereas literally you tuck up, almost like you shell yourself. It's very hard to actually hit the opponent when they're in that kind of shell defense, because a lot of the shots are landing on the gloves. You need to have a very strong abdomen section for that, because you're going to be shifting, your arms and forearms are going to be shifting a hell of a lot of punches. You're going to need to hold them up as high as you can, as tight as you can. That was kind of how he was doing it. Now, as I said, Abraham kind of was the guy. I remember using that style, you know, back in the mid 2010s, where he would literally just let you tee off on him, and he would sometimes he'd punch with you, but more often than not, he'd wait till you finished and then he would land his shots. And that's kind of how his opponent was fighting. He was waiting for Mckinson to stop, but Mckinson, the thing is, he was moving all around the ring. He was never going to stand still. So he was able to go through the motions, pick up a 10-round points decision. There's talk about him maybe fighting Ben if Ben gets through Granados. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think it's an interesting fight. Some people would say the lack of punching power in Mckinson. I think he's got enough punching power in there to get Ben's respect. In fact, Cedric Paynow does not have many knockouts on his record. I reckon he hits harder than his record suggests, but he was able to drop Ben and hurt him several times. I don't think Ben's chin has improved since then. He's just never been cracked on it by anyone with any decent power. And it's not really been in there many punchers, Conor Benn, if you think about it. Like, I can't think of many guys he's been in there who hit that hard. So, as far as I'm concerned, him against Mckinson, be an interesting fight. If they could get that over the line, I sure as hell like to see it. Mckinson is ranked number 4 by the WBO. So it would definitely get Ben a high rank. And I mean, are they got like Eddie Hearn is not going to be putting Ben in there with any 50. He said that already. You'd make him slight favourite over Mckinson, but you could see how that style could cause Ben some fits. You definitely could. So it'd be interesting. That's my thoughts on it. Overall, I was impressed with Mckinson. I thought he looked very good. I thought, as I said, his jab was on point. He's very unorthodox, but that works for him. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Other than that, I was pretty impressed with him. Like, his opponent was very limited. As I said, he went there with Josh Kelly a few years ago. Josh Kelly showboated a lot. Probably could have got him out there, didn't. That was a precursor of things to come for Kelly. But it wasn't in there with much. But he still, you got to get the win. As they say, to finish first, you got to finish, and he had to finish this fight strong. He did. And he got the win. So that's my thoughts on that. In terms of this card, I'm going to cover the main event and that's it after this. This is one of the weakest cards I've seen. For ending fight camp, they have, I was going to say they've gone out on a whimper. They haven't gone out on a whimper. They've gone out on, what? A dwarf? A midget? This is a really, apart from the main event, the rest of this card is absolute crap. It's a crap card. It really is. Absolutely crap. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button. Subscribe of course if you haven't already. I'll talk to you when the main event is finished. Hopefully that's a good fight. I think it will be. I have a funny feeling that main event is going to catch fire. For now, lads and lasses, I'll talk to you. Peace.